On ITV's This Morning, a couple was being interviewed about alleged strange activity surrounding a China doll they'd gotten from a thrift store. While the hosts of the show were rightly skeptical, viewers were more convinced as they observed the doll start to rock in its chair during the interview, seemingly of its own free will.
We'll buy them because they look like they're worth more than £5 each. You know, hands up, I bought them to resell.
That chair's beginning to rock.
Rocking.
Look at that.
Who's doing that? Stop it. Who's doing that?
When you separated these dolls, you brought them home and immediately you could feel...
Debbie Merrick and her husband Cameron Merrick were shopping one day when they stumbled across an old thrift shop. Now, the couple seemed intrigued considering they were looking for decorations for their home and noticed the thrift store had a lot of antiques. They looked around the store and didn't find anything they were interested in. That is, until Debbie's husband Cameron found some old dolls that were said to be from China. This interested him because he thought they could be valuable. Debbie wanted nothing to do with these dolls. In fact, she was actually terrified of dolls. But after some convincing, Debbie agreed to buy the dolls and they walked out of the store with 3 of them. They brought the dolls home, kept 2 of the dolls in their boxes, and left 1 doll out as decoration in their house. A few days later, after bringing the dolls home, the smoke alarms in Debbie and Cameron's house kept going off for no reason. One alarm would go off and they would go up to it and take the batteries out, and then another alarm across the house would go off. And while everybody was asleep one night, Debbie woke up to hear the floorboards creaking. She assumed it was her daughter walking to the bathroom or grabbing water, and when Debbie went to check on her daughter, she was sound asleep in her room. And then about 3 weeks after bringing home the doll, Cameron Herrick woke up one morning and noticed his leg was covered in scratches. Now, these weren't just normal scratches. These scratches seemed to be the same exact size as the doll's hand. And at this point, the Merrick family had enough of this doll, so they took it and placed it in a storage box in their shed. 2 days later, Debbie went into the shed to look for another item, and she found the doll lying there with its necklace completely off, and the necklace was sitting next to the doll. The necklace incident was the last straw for Debbie and Cameron. They proceeded to take pictures of the doll and list it on eBay in hopes of getting rid of it. In 2014, during a football game broadcast at Bolivia's Hernando Siles Stadium, footage revealed a swift-moving shadow in the bleachers. Strangely, observers seemed oblivious to the mysterious figure, which appeared to traverse through both fans and barriers.
Es correcto, ningún amonestado. Saca del arquero, le pega fuerte la pelota.
While some speculate it could be a double exposure of a footballer on camera, the eerie incident's true cause remains unknown to this day. During a broadcast on a Honduran channel, hosts Pablo Zapata and Carlos Molina were talking about a news piece when a glass slid several inches across the table right in front of Carlos.
¿Viste? Así es. ¿Viste el vaso que corrió para allá?
Ok.
No sé si lo vieron.
Ah, demolido.
Pero no hay desnivel.
Todo el mundo revienta.
Mira.
After this incident, Carlos believed that the glass moved for supernatural reasons. He insists that the glass surface the glass of water was standing on was completely flat and there was no water spilled on the surface, which could have helped it slide along. Viewers of the show speculated that the ghostly moment was all just a prank, but Carlos said that he quizzed production staff who flatly denied having anything to do with the mysterious incident. And after the broadcast, Carlos said, "I felt something strange in my body. The action didn't just demonstrate itself in the glass, but in me as well. What I felt was a supernatural phenomenon, a chill throughout my body before the glass moved. It left me traumatized. I tried to move the glass afterward with my hands and it was stuck to the table." In an episode of The Dating Game in 1978, Bachelorette Cheryl Bradshaw picked Rodney Alcala as her suitor.
Motorcycling, please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome. Number one, would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
We're going to have a great time together, Cheryl.
Okay, and here we go.
Bachelor number one,
Yes.
what's your best time?
The best time is at night, nighttime.
I'm a drama teacher, and I'm going to audition each of you for my private class. Bachelor number one, you're a dirty old man. Take it.
Come on, over here.
Who gets the date?
So I'll take one.
Number one.
Despite being a successful photographer, Bradshaw eventually turned down Alcala for his creepy behavior. But little did anyone know, Alcala was also a repeated criminal offender tied to multiple murders in the 1970s. His rejection on the show may have been the precursor to 3 more murders of women, and now he is currently serving a life sentence, and the number of murders he committed is unknown. In 2005, Raymond Watkins was interviewed about how he learned to call upon the UFOs from the Old Testament. As the broadcast was meant to prove that he was a fraud, essentially, an ABC News reporter was confused after Watkins seemed to manifest orbs of orange light in the sky before disappearing.
These beings are here. They are here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh, seer of Yahweh, at Doolittle Park off Lake Mead. We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location.
I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh, brother, look at it. There it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story. I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast.
After Raymond Watkins went public, he passed away from a supposed heart attack. In June of 2011, Stephen McDaniel broke into the apartment of his downstairs neighbor, Lauren Giddings. He then murdered her and dismembered her body. Some days later, friends of Giddings reported her missing, and a local news channel interviewed McDaniel as he was a neighbor to Giddings.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
In his interview, McDaniel attempted to appear like a distraught neighbor who was shocked by his neighbor's disappearance, but he seemed to be more concerned about letting people know that he was unaware of what happened to Lauren Giddings.
No one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, we always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much. We don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because, I mean, we went over, one of her friends had a key, we went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but, I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
He also seemed to have a bit of a breakdown when the reporter revealed that police found a body in the parking lot of the building.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
Later on, officials found Giddings' torso in one of the apartment building's dumpsters. McDaniels is currently serving a life sentence without parole. In 2013, some Americans were tricked into believing that Armageddon was much closer than it was by an unidentified prankster who found a way to hack into a Montana TV station's emergency broadcast system. Once they got into the system, they detailed the rise in the undead and to not engage them.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available.
Despite the initial worry, the prankster was fortunately apprehended. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was being filmed by Sky News while walking down the street. He walked out a door with his red folder, and as he strolled past a car, the folder was obscured from view. When he emerged from the other side of the car, the same folder had bizarrely turned bright green, with no other folder in sight.
To reaching net zero by 2050. But how much will coronavirus impact what many believed would be a
On the night of November 22nd, 1987, the television signals of two stations in Chicago, Illinois were hijacked, briefly sending a pirate broadcast of an unidentified person wearing a Max Headroom mask and costume to thousands of home viewers. The first intrusion took place at 9:14 p.m. during the sports segment of WGN TV's The 9 o'clock news.
Put up a sack in 12 quarters, finally did. Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I. Actually, the computer that we have running our news from time to time took off and went wild. So what we're going to do is...
That same night at about 11:02 p.m., the signal of local PBS station WTTW was interrupted during an airing of the Doctor Who. The culprit was the same Max Headroom impersonator, this time speaking with distorted audio.
You should talk often with the old ones of your tribe. That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
I've done some dry clothing.
Teddy Perkins is a character on the show Atlanta who was inspired by Michael Jackson. On the show, he is played by actor Donald Glover, and now people were terrified when they saw the character at the 2018 Emmys. Now you probably think that it's Donald Glover under there, but it wasn't, making this even more creepy. The director of Atlanta refused to reveal who it was, leading some to believe that it was Michael Jackson. Even more creepily, this video surfaced not long after the Emmys award show.
Oh my god!
Oh my, the best episode of television all year.
Oh my god! It's Teddy Perkins! Holy shit!
Hello?
Oh my god!
I'm glad you're alive. I was a little worried. I thought it was a documentary.
They technically killed me, but I did not die. I'm still alive.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe with post notifications on, and we will see you in the next one.